to reach that next educational goal that they have.
Thank you.
So my question is, why was it only restricted to Seattle Public High School graduates and not a Seattle resident? Because it could be a Seattle resident who's not in a Seattle Public High School.
Make it, I don't know.
Well, I guess, I mean, there is an answer. So, this program is really, it's based on a partnership, not just the colleges, Seattle colleges, but with the mayor's office in Seattle Public Schools. And so the driver really, mainly was the mayor, and I think, I'm not the mayor, but I think the whole principle was how to bring in the Seattle Public Schools in tighter connection with opportunities with the city. So that's my guess. So that that was, I assume, would be that was part of the decision framework from the mayor's office.
A question that often comes up in these related to that is,
I live in Shoreline. My kid goes to Shoreline High School, but transfers into, I don't, but if I did, transfers and graduates from a Seattle Public School just in their senior year, are they eligible? Yes, the answer is yes to that. So there's some imperfections here, but that's how it's structured at this point. So.
And
Charter schools is the other one that comes up frequently.
I was just thinking for equity for a student who may be, especially the Ranger Scholar Program that's in Seattle Public Schools, they get the help to go to a private school for high school, but they may not have, they won't have the funds to go to a private or a four-year college necessarily. So they
In the
may,
current form, right?
yeah.
Yeah, in charter schools, I guess there was a big debate at the fourth meeting. Seattle Public Schools, were you there for it?
no,
Last
I
night.
got it.
So charter school students are currently not eligible for this program either, because those are not Seattle Public High School schools.
And I will say in the community, what's been interesting, I get more arguments from parents that have students in private high schools. And so they're saying, well, it's not fair that my student in a private high school doesn't have the ability to have this free tuition because they're not in Seattle Public Schools to come to college. And the answer is, like what Kurt said, well, nothing's preventing them to then coming into Seattle Public Schools. But that's part of the agreement between the city and the agreement with Seattle Public Schools and the colleges. Yeah, other questions about either topic or comments?
Not a question, but you wanted me to.
Almost, let's,
Oh.
yeah. You might want to give count to 5, just see, yeah. All right, so with, certainly, there's imperfections, but the whole thing about all of this work, it's iterative work, right? And as we learn more about the Seattle Promise, how we build in a way to make sure that's cured for the future. But I don't want to lose sight that a lot of people work and are working really hard on the Seattle Promise side. So thank you for all of you that are working really hard on that. And I know our faculty are, thank you. And with the Seattle Promise, we know that we were getting at least 4 times as many high school students from Ingram. And when that goes citywide, I'm pretty sure we're going to see 4 times more Seattle Public School students coming to North. So what does that mean? It means I need to thank our faculty and our student services individuals, because you're going to be working with not our typical 30-year-old student that 30% of them already have a child, or that they're taking classes part-time. It's going to be a different student mix. So with that in mind, to kind of pre-thank our faculty and our student services workers in being flexible and understanding the lives of all of our students, if they're 18 or 30, Pete has been working with Cascadia High School and working...
Cascadia College.
Yeah, I called them high school, didn't I? Cascadia College. I used to work there too. They hate me to say that.
You graduated.
Yeah.
I'll just
yeah.
bleep
So,
that out.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, that you.
well, they were Cascadia Community College, but I guess we were North Seattle Community College at one point too. So I've been working with Cascadia to talk a little bit about an opportunity for us to get a better sense of working with a younger population. So do you want to talk about that?
So Warren met with the president of Cascadia College with the youngest student demographic in the state, us with the oldest. And Eric Murray, president of Cascadia, agreed that not only, well, we're forming a partnership with Cascadia where we are going to take some opportunities to learn from them and their faculty in particular, actually, and student services as well, on how to work with younger students. In the course of the conversations that I've had with their vice president of instruction, she's also asked for us to help them learn how to work with older students as their population is getting a little bit older. So we're going to have a series of events. We actually kind of kicked it off in the fall with a panel that talked about some with Joe Lane and Cristobal Borges to talk about some of the classes that have younger students. We're going to have a panel at the end of February, combination of North and Cascadia faculty and staff to talk about, from the Cascadia perspective, to talk about their work with younger students. And we saw some of the fascinating things that we can look forward to, babies born with cell phones in their hands and things like that. We're also working on expanding this partnership, and actually was just working before I came down here on an agreement with Cascadia where some faculty from North will spend a quarter at Cascadia teaching classes there and interacting in Cascadia, and at the same time some Cascadia faculty will head to North. And so two examples of the partnership that we are taking on with Cascadia to help us get even more ready for the promised students. And I'm going to hand it over to Amy to put the bow on the presentation.
That's a lot of pressure. Okay, so I just wanted to remind everybody you have some things on your table. So you have the green index cards. If you have further questions, we'd love to hear them. I know this isn't going to be exhaustive where you're able to ask everything right now, so that's a good start. So feel free to fill those out. And then we have the pillars posted across the room. So we'd love to know all the great work that's happening. So any of the yellow Post-its, put the great work that's happening in regards to the different pillars and then put them on there so we have an idea. But
Remind me again,
yes. So remember we have a Y'all Come guiding team meeting February 13th. So it's from 8:30 to 11:30 and you'll hear more about it. And I'm going to hand it up to Curtis.
One question on that. A lot of faculty teach from 8:30 to whatever it is. What do you suggest for faculty who might be in the classroom at one time?
Yeah, so timing is something we're going to discuss at that particular meeting, but it's a come and go. So, if you're in class during part of it, come during another part so you can see what it's like, and we'll have the agenda already so you can take a look at that.
That's not going to be the only opportunity.
And that's not going to be the only opportunity. So guiding team is yet one more example of a time where we're going to come together to identify barriers, ask questions, talk about the work, etc.
All right. Any last questions? Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. These are great things that we're going to do across campus. So,